Hi, this is a gentle introduction to how AWS ECS works with an example tutorial. In this video, we're going to walk through a couple different steps. There's actually a lot of steps here. Number one, we're going to create ECS cluster with one container. We're going to create a task definition. Then we're going to create ELB and a target group to later associate with the ECS service. Then we'll create a service that runs the task definition. We'll confirm everything is working, and then we'll scale up the service to 4 tasks. On the very end, we'll clean it all up so it doesn't cost money. Let's, I guess, jump right into it. This is based on a blog post that's written. It's called Gentle Introduction to How AWS ECS Works with Example Tutorial. And here, I cover everything in detail also. And also, this is a very useful blog post because you can copy and paste any commands that you need, which I'm going to definitely do in this tutorial here. Okay, so create ECS cluster with one container instance. I'm actually going to go through this exact process right now. Let's go do it. Okay, so run that command to create my ECS SG, which is a security group that I'm creating right now. Let's go verify that I got created by checking the ECS or EC2 console. We're just waiting for it to load. Security groups, boom, right there. So that's the one that I just created with that command that I pasted into the shell there. And the command was AWS EC2 create security group. And I supplied a group name and a description. Okay, now that I've created that, I can now do the next thing, which is I need to create a cluster. Okay, so I got to go find the ECS service. So ECS, there's so many services. There it is right there. It's the second one. I was just a little bit blind. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and click create cluster right here. And what did I have it here? I had my cluster in here. So why don't we just go ahead and create my cluster? Okay, create an empty cluster. Just go ahead and create an instance. Ooh, I can do a spot instance now, huh? The lowest price. Let's see if there's anything there that's interesting. Whatever. Okay, maximum bid. I kind of have to think that. Okay, so that's let's say this is a 50 cents an hour. I just want to get in there. Okay, and tutorial, I just use the tutorial key. Create new VPC. I'll just use the existing VPC, the default VPC, to make it simple. Select subnets, so I'll select all the subnets. So I think the default VPC has 3 subnets because I'm the US West region with 3 AZs. Now create security group. I don't want to create security group, right? I just created one called my ECS SG right there. So that's done. Container instance role. It says something about here that if you do not have an instance role ready, it will be created for you. I kind of remember this, yes. So it's going to automatically create this ECS instance role because I'm kind of going through this wizard here. And IAM role for spot fleet instance. So I'm not exactly following the blog tutorial here because I saw the ability to launch a spot instance, which is pretty sweet. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. See what happens. So it's creating a cluster, it's creating an IAM policy, it's creating a fleet. Oh, it's dealing with spot fleets. So that's really cool. Okay. So I guess I have to wait for that to get created. So I'm going to sit around here and wait, but you're not going to have to because I'm going to fast forward in the video. So you're going to get to see the end result of this. Ah, boo, it failed here. So what happened? Let's go check on the CloudFormation stack. Okay, this is going to be the longest video in the world. Okay, rollback in progress because it does not like me. What happened here? Failed to create spot. Oh, is invalid. I'm not exactly sure what that is. That might be a bug. Okay, or I'm assuming it's a bug, but maybe not, right? It's usually my fault. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna go back here and start from the top. And this time, I'm just gonna delete the cluster. Well, let's start from the top. I might have to delete this out, but a few minutes. So I guess it's deleting that CloudFormation stack now. Okay, and let's go back here and check on this guy. So what happened here? Create cluster with one instance. Yeah, this is the same thing. I guess when I created this post, they didn't have that option at that point. So we are going to try this again. Create cluster. I'm just do on-demand cluster because I don't want that pain of that stack rolling back. So, boo, That's good. That's good. Whatever defaults tutorial there. I'm gonna use the default, and then I'm gonna select all the VPCs so it's spread even. The instances will be spread evenly across. Create a new security group. Nope, don't want that. We want my ECS SG, and click create. Let's see. Let's cross our fingers and hope it works this time. And it doesn't roll back in and hate me. Okay. So waiting for that to start. It says pending. It's interesting to know that the ECS wizard is actually using CloudFormation as their implementation here. So you can actually follow this along by looking at CloudFormation. Okay, there it goes. Create complete. Okay, much more successful that time. Okay, so no bloopers. Okay, let's see what happened. Now what do I have to do next? I'll just follow along this tutorial here. See if it still works. Okay, step 2, create a task definition. So I can start. Okay, so here I gotta go create a task definition, right? So I'm using this, and it looks like I'm actually testing it locally. So let's go ahead and test this locally. Unable to find image, so it's gonna pull in an image, and it's gonna pull pretty blazing fast here because I'm on a remote Docker daemon here. I should put together a video for that too, because that's a big time saver if you're running Docker, especially on a slow internet connection. Okay, so waiting for that to start up, and then while I'm waiting for that to start up, I'm gonna kind of skip ahead here and try to figure out what I'm supposed to do next. Okay, so that is still downloading. I guess I'm gonna curl it and basically just verify by echoing by curling an endpoint and making sure that it returns the meaning of life, which is a 42, as everybody knows. Docker stop high, Docker remove high. Okay, so I guess after I've spun up a container, I deleted it. So just to testing it that the Docker file works locally first. So this is me being just very thorough and just going, look, before I try to launch this in the ECS, I want to make sure this is working locally, right? Because if it works in your machine, of course it can work in production, right? This is taking basically internally to download, even on my EC2 instance, probably because I'm being too cheap with that instance. Okay, come on. It's extracting, it's thinking. Okay, so while that's waiting, then what we're gonna have to do eventually, we're gonna have to create this task definition thing. So with ECS, you have to create these things called task definitions. They're like blueprints. They're definitions to instruct ECS how to launch your Docker container, basically what image to use, how much CPU to allocate, how much memory to reserve, all that kind of stuff. Very super exciting. So still kind of pulling in everything here and taking eternity. Okay, so I think that actually did its thing. Okay, there it goes. It's running right there. I'm running a couple other services from a while ago, I guess. And now we are going to... I can't... Of course I can't. So SSH BoltOps.com. So that should get me in there. Ooh. That's odd. Oh, I'm silly. I need to specify EC2 username. Okay, now I'm in here, so I could actually go to Docker PS. Oops, I guess I'm running this process as root. Now I could curl this this boy. Okay, there we go. See, I curled it, and I've proven that the Docker container is up and running. I had to jump into the remote daemon because I'm not running Docker locally on my local machine. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop this container now, and remove it all at the same time. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna continue trying to do this. I think I'll have to pause this video for a little bit here because my daughter is outside screaming on top of her lungs. So pause. Hi guys, continuing from last time here. I last curled the Docker container and made sure that it was working, and it returned 42, the meaning of life. Now we're going to try to get this Docker container onto ECS. So that's the whole point of this. In order to do that, you have to create something called a task definition. It's called ECS task definition, and what that is it's a blueprint document that you provide to ECS that describes to ECS and tells ECS how to launch and run the Docker container, essentially. In the document, you'll see there's the image name. That's you need to provide it there. CPU shares, you can specify CPUs, you can specify memory reservation, all, again, it's very exciting stuff. So let's go ahead and create this document. So this is the project, the Sinatra project, and task definition.json. Okay, and you paste in there, and now we just need to launch it. or register the task definition first, then we can eventually launch the service. So you have to register it first. So let's go ahead and register the task definition, and bam, right there, it registered. So in order to confirm that it registered successfully, you can go to the ECS console, and under task definitions, you could check on it. So go task definitions here. There's the notch for high. Then you can see it. You can see it right there. So we just register that task definition. And going on down the line, let's see. Going down the line, create the ELB and target. Okay, so now we're gonna create the load balancer. So I want to make this application accessible to the world, so everybody can figure out that number 42. So in order to do that, we have to go to the EC2 console, and before creating the load balancer, I'm going to create the security group. So I usually use a separate security group for the load balancer, just so I can finally control the security settings there. Usually the permissions are a little bit different for a load balancer than it is for the container instance. Okay, I add the rule here. I want to make it port 80. Was smart enough to look autocomplete and basically expose the world to port 80 because it's in the load balancer. Okay, so creating that's done. Now what we're going to do is create the load balancer itself. So go in here and create load balancer. Oh, sweet. There's network load balancers now. That's the newer, faster load balancers, and look, the classical load balancer is so sad. It's going to be deprecated probably. Okay, application load balancer create. So my ELB is the name I'm going to use. Port 80. All the subnets on the default VPC here, configure security settings, is a warning about SSL. I don't need it for the sake of this tutorial. And then that's the new ELB security group that I just created. Now I'm going to configure routing, new target group. So now you get to kind of create target group here. My target group, path, advanced settings, don't need that. Okay, and here's the interesting thing. So step 5, register targets. Normally you create a ELB target group, and then you register like an instance to it because you want to make use of that target group. You want to make use of the load balancer. But with ECS will automatically, whenever containers spin up and whenever containers get terminated, it will automatically register and deregister to your load balancer. So in this step, we actually do nothing. So review and create. So that successfully created the load balancer. And now let's move on down the line and see what else is next. Ooh, authorized security groups. Okay, so this is important. So I expose port 80 on the load balancer security group. But right now the load balancer can't talk to the container instances because I haven't authorized and opened that up yet. And I'll show you before and after. So go into security groups here and go to my ECS security groups, inbound rules, nothing. So nothing can talk to container instances that have this ECS security group. But I'm going to go ahead and open that up now. Here's the command to do that. You can also do it from the AWS GUI, but I'm just doing it this way. And then verify it through the GUI. So go in here and kind of refresh, and that should show up. Bam, right there. So now it's basically saying everything from the ELB SG. It's going to be able to talk to any port on that container instance, which is important, or else it's not going to work. Okay, so moving on down the line, number 4, create a service that runs a task definition. Okay, sweet. So we finally got to the part where we're going to create ECS service now. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this into the project once again. ECS service.json. Yes, very creative with my names today. Okay, so I put this in big bold so I didn't forget. Fill in your target group. So we need to grab the ELB target group. Okay, not the ELB, but the target group. Right, we're working with application load balancers here. So load balancers, but target group right there. So it's the ARN right here. You want to grab this guy, and then you want to paste it into this guy's the target group ARN. Exactly what it says, target group ARN. So you can see that's a target group right here, and at this point, we should be ready to launch the ECS service. So why don't we go ahead and run this command, and we'll see if it works. And oops, unable to validate role improper permission. So I need to create I need to create this guy right here. So if you are doing this for the first time on your account, you need to create an ECS service role. I'm doing this for the first time, so I need to create that role. And in order to do that, I basically go here to this documentation. You could Google for it too. It's also provided in this blog post here, but you can Google for ECS service role. And then you have to create this IMA role, which is going to authorize the role that's associated with the ECS container to do ECS actions. So and I should know because look in the ECS service it has the role right here, but the reason I'm getting that error is because that role has not been created yet. The role doesn't exist, so ECS is very confused. Okay, so let's go create that role. So that goes to, you go services, you go IAM, you go in here, and then you now click on roles, you go create role, and this is the new wizard. It's yeah, I find it pretty cool. So you go click ECS container right here, your use case, ECS container. I guess that's a category, and then that's okay. So permissions, you want that permission. That's good. Next review, and then the role name, and the role name again we're gonna call it ECS Service Role because that's what the documentation says. Okay. Okay, so there's ECS Service Role now. So let's try this command again, and that should work. I'm wondering if it just takes some time, because no. Let's see, ECS Service Role, and did I set this up right? Trusted entities, assume role ECS, that should work. So let's try one more time. Okay, I just have to wait a little bit. It took a while for that IMA role to register. I mean, it took like about 30 seconds probably. I just was impatient. This is what AWS has done to me. It made me very, very impatient. Okay, so moving on. That basically created the service. So let's go verify that the service actually works now, right? Let's go back to services and go click on ECS EC2 container services. Okay, and under my cluster, you see my service. Yay! We finally got there. It's running, and if you kind of click on this, you can see that this my service is associated with this target group, which means it's gonna be hopefully available in the world, and we can verify it. So let's verify that everything is working. So a couple ways to do that is basically one, oh, that's interesting. I was checking for the load balancer. So I think that's actually interesting too. So let's go there and go click on EC2. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look at the load balancer and see that the target has been registered. So you click on target groups right here. Okay, and targets. Look at that. See, ECS has spun up a container and it has registered to your ELV target group. It did that automatically. That's pretty cool. Okay, and then another way to check that things are kind of working is SSH to the instance right here, and then verifying that everything kind of works. So let's go do that. So let's go find the instance public IP address, and we'll use it to SSH in. SSH EC2 user at IP address. I am not quite in. Oh, I did not open up the port probably. Okay, so just doing this on the go, guys, with you guys. Okay, so ECS. So the security groups here. I'm gonna go ahead and open up port 22, so I can SSH into it and verify it. And we'll do it to the not this is. So I'm just gonna do it for the world right now, just for the tutorial. And then hopefully this has registered quickly. Yes. Okay, there we go. I am in now. So Docker PS, bam, right there. See that the container is running. So let's check it the same way we did it earlier when it was running locally. So curl, there's 42 right there. So that means this should be able to work now also from the outside world. So let's go back outside of the server. And let's grab the load balancer DNS name right here, this random one, and then let's curl that guy, and let's see what happens. I'm going to do echo the n here, and that did not work. So what happened there? Okay, let's see. It is listeners forward to my target group right here. So the target group should work. Let's see what happens. No, this is just if the target. Okay, target group, targets, health checks are. Is everything healthy? Oh, it's unhealthy right now. Oh, interesting. Request timeout. So I think have in here what possible ways this can go wrong. So confirm everything is working, blah, blah, blah. Check that is allowing all traffic. Let's actually do that. Let's just make sure the traffic's being all allowed. I thought I did that. ECS inbound. It's, oh, interesting. Look at this. It's actually not, maybe that command I ran did not do its job. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and authorize all traffic here. No, not SSH. Kill this guy. Port range 02, and the port range, okay, that's SSH actually. Okay, 0 to 65,535. That's basically every single port, and allow the ELB security group here. Save it. Okay, and let's see if that makes this target healthy. It should. Let's go and click on this again. Healthy check. Nope, target's right here. Draining initial. So what's happening is ECS is cycling through the containers because it thinks it's not healthy. So let's kind of wait here. Saying draining initial. So this is going to take a little time. Let me see if I can just it's actually working already. The GUI hasn't reflected yet, but that was the problem, and this is actually showing healthy now here too. So that's good. So we've verified that everything's working. Now moving on, let's see. Let's scroll back here. So I grab the ELB. Okay, so would like to also see is there any other way to verify that it would be useful here. So we verify it when cleaning everything up. Oh, before that, we could scale up the services for tasks. So how do you scale up? This is actually quite simple. Let's go to Services, ECS Container, or EC2 Container Service, My Cluster. Click on this guy, Update. Let's scale up to 4. So that's how you scale up. Next step, scale up. Do not. So this is actually configured for auto scaling, optional too, but I'm not going to do that for now. And then update service. So okay. So that should launch some new services, new containers. I think you click on, looks like you just have to refresh here. Nothing there, nothing there. Let's kind of running count, pending count. So events, let's look at events and see if it has reached steady state. I just think it hasn't kind of kicked in yet. So let's desired counts right there, running count right there. So it's going to take some time here to scale it up. It has reached steady state. Details. Deployments. I wonder if it's because this, no, auto scale is not configured. So it should actually just, there we go, pending count. This took about 30 seconds. So again, AWS has made me completely impatient now. So there it goes. And I didn't take, from here, it took about a minute here. Okay, so that should scale it up to 4. It's already scaled up to 4 now. Let's actually go into the instance one more time because I want to show you guys how it's actually done that for 4 containers. It's pretty sweet, and it still works here. Okay, so last thing is we're going to clean everything up, and we have to delete everything. So a couple things to delete here. I'm going to go ahead and delete my ELB, my service, not traffic, everything. Actually, I'm just going to close up the video here because it's getting a little bit long. But that pretty much does everything. That takes you through the entire basic tutorial to introduce you to ECS. Hopefully, let's kind of actually, so what we did was, here's a recap. We created ECS cluster with 1 container. We created a task definition. We created an ELB target group so then we can associate that load balancer with the ECS service. Then we created a service that runs that task definition. Then we confirmed everything is working, and then we scaled the service to 4. Then at the end, they're working clean up. I'm going to skip that part for this video. Okay, here's some references. What the ECS terms mean tutorial. This is actually a blog post with just the terms and a visual explanation of the terms, which really helped me. And then a gentle introduction, which is the blog post, and the official ECS documentation there. Okay, So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. If you found videos like this helpful, feel free to comment below and like it to encourage more content like this. If you have any DevOps, if you need any DevOps help, check out BoltOps and subscribe to watch more videos like this. Thanks, guys.